Hello and welcome to this edition of WeTalk, Your Way, Andy and Beijing. The past week saw the United States intensify its diplomatic efforts to court Asian countries after meeting with leaders of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, at a summit in Washington earlier this month. U.S. President Joe Biden made his first trip to Asia since taking office, visiting South Korea and Japan. High on its agenda was a summit of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, which groups the United States, Japan, Australia, and India to hustle the so-called Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, or IPEF. The Biden administration said that the United States aims to promote freedom and openness in the Indo-Pacific region. Well, that sounds good, but the real intention might not be the same as what the U.S. has claimed.
Yeah, that's why some experts believe that their moves to form a clique and fan confrontation in the region. Well, I don't make any conclusions for now, but firstly, let's take a look at the report by South China Morning Post. The article argued Beijing's growing influence and economic and military strength are of concern, particularly for Washington as it tries to maintain its global standing, and, quote, portraying Beijing as a threat to stability and the global order is about forcing nations to choose sides, and concluded doing so will undermine peace, harmony, and prosperity.
It is true with Quad. Since former U.S. President Donald Trump announced the Indo-Pacific strategy in 2017, Washington has been projecting the Quad as the Asian version of NATO, with the aim of constraining, if not containing, China's growing power and influence in the region.
Well, that's exactly what experts say. Here's a look.
That is certainly a kind of an Asian, you can say, NATO, which has come into being. But the purpose is quite obvious. Purpose is to keep the monopoly and hegemony of the United States in the region. This is actually meant to contain China.
Now let's turn to the IPEF. It is confusing. There are so many regional free trade arrangements in the Asia-Pacific, such as TPP, RCEP, and CPTPP. And the U.S. actually withdrew from TPP. Now it came back with the IPEF. It sounds like an economic deal, but unlike others, the IPEF is criticized as being discriminatory and exclusive.
Yes, it excludes China, the world's largest trading nation in goods, and it is fraught with substantial weakness, lack of free trade. So the real purpose of the U.S. is to leave out China. It is more of a political tool to form an anti-China clique than an economic deal to benefit the region.
There is a real danger the IPEF will undermine and divide existing mechanisms in the Asia-Pacific region rather than facilitate prosperity and economic cooperation.
When talking about sowing seeds of division and forming cliques, the United States is second to none, but Asian countries should have a second thought. And that's all for this edition of WeTalk.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.